there have been days where I kid you not, at the grocery store, we're handing out pops, one at a time. You literally have to convince people and share your story one pop at a time. Howard Schultz says it best. He built Starbucks one cup at a time.
Yeah.
And you have to have the patience, tenacity, and willpower to be like, I'm going to show up for 3 years. Gary Vee says this all the time. It's so true. You've probably noticed it with Purpose in the Youth, man.
Yeah.
Do it for 3 years.
Yeah.
Then let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
If you keep putting your head down and iterating, eventually you'll find product market fit, and then you'll push through.
Purpose in the Youth. Purpose in the Youth. Purpose in the Youth podcast. Welcome back to the Purpose in the Youth podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Purpose in the Youth podcast with your favorite bearded man, the one, the only Bobbbaaaay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Purpose in the Youth podcast with your favorite bearded man, the one, the only Bobbbaaaay. Today in the house, CEO, co-founder of Dream Pops, David Greenfeld. Woo! What up, baby?
Not too much, man.
Dude,
thanks for having me, Bobby.
Dude, Saturday we're cooking up some content. I love this. These are the moments that I live for, man. Just this is the make or break of the entrepreneurs. How bad do you want it? What are you willing to do in the short term to get it in the long term? And I'm stoked to have you here today. I love that I just came across this product literally at the Yes Theory screening, and then not even 2 weeks later, I come across your Instagram, and now we are here today. It's weird how moments like that kind of full circle. And
dude, hyper-connected world. That's
weird,
just,
super
that's
weird.
where we're at.
Yeah. Thinking back, July of 2016, you're about to launch Dream Pops. At that time, what is the vision of Dream Pops before it is what it is today, and has it changed at all?
100%, man. Day one, we were so wrapped up in the idea of 3D printing ice cream, which is a common misconception with what we do today. In my mind, there was a big trend in 3D printing and customization and what you could do with that technology. We 3D print our molds. So in my mind, I'm like, wow, we could actually create custom ice cream in any shape, and that could be a massive play from a marketing, advertising standpoint, etc.
Yeah.
And where we are today is we don't 3D print our ice cream at all. We have our proprietary molds that are 3D printed. And for us, we're really actually about, while 3D printing was important, now it's about being a vegan, healthier, better for you option on the market. And our shape that is, proprietary and differentiated is really our icon and our Nike swoosh, if you will.
I love it.
So that's, yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
when Zach Conover of Yesterday was passing these out, he passed it out and he gave it to me, and I kind of was I was lost because I hadn't opened the actual. It was the single packaging.
Yep.
And I had it in my hand. I was like, Dream Pop, what the hell is this? And I see everyone around the party licking and eating it, and I see this shape, and I'm just so confused. Like, I've never seen an ice cream like this.
Totally.
But it's amazing. I mean, did it take you guys a long time to figure out that specific shape and style, or were there a couple other ideas you guys had?
Yeah, so we tested a few different ideas. This shape, there's something about it that's a bit iconic. It's really beautiful. It's actually built. The popsicle itself was engineered for mouthfeel, and the way you eat it, it actually is perfectly kind of designed for function. And so you'll notice it even as you eat the Dream Pop. It's a great experience overall.
Oh my God.
but in general, I think I can't take credit for creating the shape. My partner, who's a food engineer and food scientist, did design it. But when I saw it and interacted with it for the first time living in Italy and being out there, myself and my co-founder David Cohen, we both knew that this was the shape. This speaks to people. There's an emotional reaction, much in the same way when we were kids and we had a SpongeBob ice cream. I'm sure you remember with the gumball eyes.
I'll go right for the little the eyeballs right away.
That or Dippin' Dots. I mean, those are functional formats that have an emotional appeal to us over the years that you don't forget.
Yeah.
Your first Dippin' Dots, I don't know if you eat Dippin' Dots or if you have.
I haven't in a minute.
Okay.
But I still remember.
You remember?
100%. The hockey rink that we would go to still there today. That was like the thing that I looked forward to going to the hockey game. I was like,
100%.
Dippin' Dots are there. I'm down. I want to go for the Dippin' Dots more than I do for the actual hockey game.
Totally. And there's that's what we're really trying to tap into, is an emotional relationship that a consumer has with the product, both for the way it looks, how it tastes, but bottom line is like all about health. If you look at how terrible some of these ingredients are, artificial flavors, dyes, gums, etc., that are in these products, sugar.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane, dude. I, as a child, ate thousands of these products.
Yeah.
You did too.
Yeah.
And you don't think about how that compounds over time. And if net, families are eating Dream Pops, which I stand behind. I'll eat one every single day.
Wow.
That's a net marginal improvement that I can kind of stand behind.
Wow.
So.
And a lot of times when I get guests that come in with products like this, I usually will fire it up on camera, but I don't want to do that for this because it takes a little bit longer to eat.
Yeah.
But know that I appreciate you bringing me a bunch of the flavors and samplings
Totally.
that I'm for sure going to be munching on for the next 6 or 7 days.
I love it.
So I can't wait. But we're going to get into a lot more of Dream Pops, but we got to paint a picture of how David got to where he is today, because you didn't just wake up and now you are a co-founder of Dream Pops. You grew up in Los Angeles, and it was Encino, you said?
Encino.
What is this
Right here.
environment like for you growing up?
Dude, it's great. I think there's no other city that I could see myself being in the long run. I love Los Angeles in general. I think it's a hub for creators and creative individuals.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a nice mix of everything, whether it's media, technology. It's now becoming a hub for food and beverage consumers. It's arguably the best place to build a food and beverage brand. And it's so exciting to me because I get to sit down with all these other badass founders who are building food and beverage companies.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, grew up in Encino, went to school in the area. I went to a high school called New Community Jewish High School, private Jewish high school.
Yep.
Which I love, great alma mater, learned a ton there. Always had the entrepreneurial bug. I got a couple parents who are entrepreneurs, so that's always been in the back of my mind is something that's been instilled to me and going after that creative pursuit. And luckily, I think the entrepreneurs who grow up in households where that's either looked down upon or not necessarily celebrated is arguably a harder situation. I mean, way harder situation, right? Because if your parents aren't, my parents, no matter what, I mean, between us, man, I was, I've been through a few different creative pursuits, everything from tried to start a sunglasses company in high school, which failed.
Wow.
I had a slight, I had a rap career, so I still spit bars, and that's a nice.
We can get you in the studio after.
Done.
I already got the engineering ready
Just
to go.
get the beat going, and we'll make it happen. And yeah, I had a little, music endeavor, and then I actually tried to start a premium box wine business in college. And this is, after that, had a few more corporate experiences, which gave me the skill set that I really needed to go out and kind of build a real business and real company.
And they see all those experiences, all those lessons you were learning along the way have probably just helped set you up for this moment with Dream Pops. So that
1,000%.
I can relate it back to the music career. I can relate it back to anything that I've done in the past. What were the parents doing though? What was their entrepreneur routes?
Yeah, totally. So my dad was in the movie industry. So if you ever go to a movie and watch a trailer or preview before the movie, he started a company called the Ant Farm that made those movie trailers in the beginning. So, really into the marketing and trying to convince people to go see a movie in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So all about really, consumer psychology, getting people amped about a movie before it comes out. And then my mom is actually a rabbi, and she has her own minyan called Nachshon Minyan. So she is, her concept is just enough Judaism, and really bringing Judaism to, modern society, people like us who are looking to relate to religion.
Wow. And were there any brothers and sisters along the way?
Yeah, I've got an older sister, Samantha Greenfeld, incredible artist.
Shout out to Samantha.
She is, got to see her art. Samantha Greenfeld.
She's amazing.
Up and coming, so talented. So, just a family of creators.
Yeah.
So, I guess I've definitely been feeding off of that creative spirit.
Yeah. Thinking back on the childhood, can you remember that first moment of you having a dream or a goal for something and executing it?
Yeah, I would say early on, or I would say my first goal that I executed on was I started this sunglasses company early on in high school. And weirdly enough, I would go on Alibaba when I was in sixth grade, just looking for things that I could pop. I mean, dude, I was just on Alibaba, and I'm like, wow, there are all these manufacturers, and I saw these sunglasses, and I was really inspired by what Blake Mycoskie was doing at Tom's, and I was like, man, why don't I buy a bunch of these sunglasses? I could actually customize them. I put my own brand and logo on them, And I was like, man, every time someone purchases a single pair of sunglasses, I can use some of the proceeds to help someone with vision impairment or some issues related to that.
Wow.
And was really inspired there. I sold like 100 pairs of glasses. I was so excited.
Yeah.
It was probably my closest friends buying them. But it was nice to kind of see that through, create the actual mold and product in Shenzhen, ship them out to the States, have a product and wear them everywhere.
Yeah.
And so that was probably like an early success that I was happy about.
You loved it. You were firing them up in high school,
Dude,
just selling
sending
anybody.
emails to Chinese manufacturers off Alibaba.
I love it. Yeah, you got to start somewhere, right?
100%.
For you, was there maybe the parents are the answer, but is there anyone that was for you a positive role model that really inspired you, or you were learning a lot from just from afar? Parents, family members?
Yeah, a few. So definitely like both of my parents. I also am lucky enough. I have a group of friends who are all entrepreneurs, specifically in direct-to-consumer or consumer.
Yeah.
One of which, his name is Steven Eisen. He started a company called Lokai bracelets.
Yes, yeah.
Which are,
that's so crazy to me.
Incredible. And, I was roommates with him before he launched the business. And, he basically said to me one day, look me in the eyes, he's like, I'm going to create the next Livestrong. And I was like, that's a big statement, but you're hungry enough. You got the grit to do it. And seeing him in the next 6 years actually manifest that statement, unbelievable.
Oh my God.
And I was, I had a front seat to watch this happen. And then I have other friends who in that time have also, good friend Cody, one of my best friends, Cody Levine, launched an oral care company for, toothpaste called Twice. My buddy Greg Kohenka launched a athleisure brand called Jacques. And we've all been able to kind of feed off of each other's entrepreneurial spirit, push each other, and just help one another in that race.
Isn't that crazy when you surround yourself with these people? Like it just continues to inspire you, but then also you're learning so much from all these people. You can tap in and ask questions if they've done something before and you're trying to elevate it with Dream Pops. But it amazes me that when you surround yourself with the right people, you're going to be successful. Like there's no doubt about it.
100%.
It just takes time. But man, that's crazy. The bracelet one catches my attention because I remember buying those. I don't remember what year it was, but I remember, man, that must have been sophomore year of college, maybe. I graduated 2016, so maybe like 2013, 2014 I was buying them.
He was one of the first people that was just getting influencers to post about his brand, and no one was doing it 4 or 5 years ago. Influencers weren't a thing. No one was like, oh, we can convert them to our website using posts. And so really like one of the first movers. And as we watched that kind of unfold, just started taking notes, learning how, we could, try and replicate something and build a brand and, just watch someone manifest that level of success and creativity and independence has been, it's been awesome.
Man, that's incredible. University of California, Berkeley.
Yeah.
You go
Bears.
You go 6 hours north. You're a business administration major. Why Berkeley? Why didn't you pack up and move to the other side of the country where the snow is? Or...
I wanted to go to Michigan, man.
Did you?
I went to summer camp in Michigan, so I got a bunch of friends out there. I was ready to go up to the Bay Area. I was blessed. It was an incredible school, incredible environment, such an awesome tech scene, and dove right in and learned so much and made a ton of friends there and great relationships.
Yeah.
I also got the chance, after my first job out of college, I worked at Tesla in Palo Alto.
That's amazing.
So being there during, their first profitable quarter, doing more FP&A, so financial planning and analysis.
Yeah.
But, we got an email from Elon, a group, our team did. I remember that. I was like, I want to take a photo of this. This is crazy. But we had it was just unbelievable. Like being there while the Model S was launching, seeing that level of, innovation happening with electric cars, and it was a great experience. I just was ready to, SF is a fantastic place, but LA is kind of where I needed to be.
Yeah.
So
how was that experience though for working for a company like Tesla, who is so driven on a greater purpose? They're not there to make. They're there to make money, but that's not the core. Like they're trying to completely disrupt the industry of cars, and I love everything about Elon because he's trying to take over the ground with Tesla. He's trying to take under the tunnels now. He's trying to take over SpaceX. What's that energy like, even being part of Tesla for that very short time that you were with them?
Yeah, I would just show up to work and I'm like, we're literally, helping to save the planet.
Yeah.
We are the hub of innovation for clean tech, clean auto. Other auto manufacturers are going to license or replicate the EVs that are being made in our backyard right here. So I could show up every day, and I was just proud to even just be in the building.
Yeah.
I think it's an amazing environment. He is cutthroat, and you are working some pretty intense hours.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I'm just not a this is gonna sound ridiculous, but I'm not a car guy. Like I wasn't really passionate about the auto industry, and so that's why I wasn't able to stay there long term. I was really excited to be a part and see what was happening with basically the evolution of a greener future with electric vehicles and what they're building. It was really special.
That's amazing. During your junior year, that's when you ended up launching the wine company, I believe.
Yeah.
How did you pronounce it?
Jvst Wine.
Jvst Wine, but with the V. Jvst Wine.
Classic issue.
I love it. I love it. But I love the mission was, our mission is to bring the great wine with twice the quantity, twice the quality, and half the arrogance.
100%.
I love that. What for you were one of the more important lessons that you were learning from that
I've got
adventure?
A great story for you.
This is what this is what the podcast is about.
This is money. So got to give a shout out to Max Hinchman, who brought me on for that journey. He grew up in Lodi in the wine industry, and really had experienced firsthand, everything from how walking the vineyards, understanding what the wine business really looked like, and kind of showed me this unique opportunity. He was studying in Australia. It might be something like 70% of consumers love boxed wine. And he's like, dude, there's no innovation in boxed wine here. Millennials like me and you, we want something that's twice the quantity, twice the quality, half the arrogance. We slap the bag. Why is there nothing sexy that we can bring to the parties? And by the way, there are companies that are doing it right now. I think we're a little early. So then we're like, okay, what is one of the best unboxing experiences of all time? We need to break the stigma with boxes and boxed wine in Apple Box. So how do we merge opening an iPhone with an Apple Box with boxed wine with Franzia? And let's create that in a beautiful, weirdly enough, it was a geometric box, which is, back to my geometric box.
I know, I was going to say, you big shape type of guy. Big shape type of guy.
Dude, it's a trip even thinking. I didn't even think about that till now. Anyway, how can we reimagine the stigma associated with boxed wine for people like us who want something that's a little cheaper, more affordable? So we made our first run. There's bladders inside these boxes, and we convinced Whole Foods to put them in 3 stores, which is a big deal to get we had an end cap. We had a big stack of Jvst Wine boxes all in those 3 Whole Foods stores in NorCal. And so as we were filling up the boxed wine, you fill up the wine in a bladder. And if you have too much yeast in the bags will expand and eventually explode. So we thought we were very careful with anything that might be in that bladder or bag.
Yeah.
And next thing we know, we're so excited. We're moving product. It's great. We have a couple end caps at Whole Foods. All of the boxes began to explode.
No way.
And wine all over these Whole Foods stores. And we're done. We're blackballed out of there. And that was the end of our wine career.
So from that, was that the moment of we're out, we need to move on?
Yes, exactly. That was this was a great experience. We're unprepared, bad omen. I was done.
Explosions. I can picture people just walking down the aisles in these Whole Foods and just bags of wine just kind of blowing up.
Recalled everything. It was just a nightmare, but a great experience in quality control and making sure every detail is accounted for.
Another little lesson that is just adding up to where you are today.
100%.
So when you graduate, though, you also ended up becoming a contributor for Elite Daily, which
yes.
I thought was super interesting.
Yep.
I don't know if it was you specifically, but there was a focus on money, entrepreneurship, startups, and success. Had you always been somebody that enjoyed writing?
I love writing.
Yeah.
I've always loved, one of my strongest classes was always English, ironically enough, even though I went, in something more of a math trajectory. Love reading, love writing. I had just been obsessed. I have now I have more of these, if you've heard of The Hustle or even the Skim or certain email blasts that you'll get, Quartz, great every day for readership. Then Elite Daily and a handful of Business Insider, et cetera, had some great sites that I was going on. And I loved reading these articles. I would oftentimes reach out to the contributors and, just as I was going on that entrepreneurial journey with Jvst Wine and some of these other, reading a lot about founders, I was like, man, it would be really fun to, contribute, write a little bit about my experience and what I've seen. And so, yeah, I just started writing articles for Elite Daily just to contribute and be a part of that ecosystem.
And was that pretty much you get to write on whatever you're passionate about or whatever's kind of in the back of your mind? Because you did it for, I think it was almost 3 years. That's a good amount of time to be a contributing writer.
Yeah, I did. You know what? I did like 7 or 8 articles over that 3 year period.
So it was just kind of, you were part of it.
Exactly. It was kind of on the side and really enjoyed it, but it wasn't, something that was foundational or that I was spending a ton of time doing. It was more when I had that free time and that ability to kind of creatively express myself, trying to test new things I might really enjoy.
And that's probably better for you and for the readers because you're writing content that you actually want to write about versus being forced like you're in college when you have to write a paper on something you don't give a shit about.
Yes.
And you're now just putting a bunch of words together. It's like, even if in 3 years you only put out 7 or 8 articles, they're probably high quality because you were like, I have an idea and I actually want to take this and run with it and see where it goes.
And that's back to just, I will just do things, test different, avenues, platforms, etc. And that's, I think everyone has to do that because if you write an article or a blog post and you absolutely love it and you're doing it, every day, every other day, etc., then I think you found something that could potentially be, a career or something you're excited about. And, back to everything from writing articles to, as I said, trying, music and hip hop and rap and loving that to all different types of industries. I just wanted to beta test and iterate and see what spoke to me at that young age.
Yeah.
So that when I was ready to build something, I could fully commit.
What was it?
Was testing the waters.
What was the rap name?
Lifestyle.
Lifestyle? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone right now, go on Google, type in lifestyle rapper, see if you can find it. Type in Encino, California. Maybe you might pull up some gems.
Absolutely.
Hey, it could come back. You never know. You also worked for, I want to say is it Houlihan Lokey?
Houlihan Lokey.
Houlihan Lokey. What a great name. That just sounds great.
Amazing.
So investment banking analyst in LA for about 3 years. Are you loving this job? Are you learning a lot? How did that opportunity come about?
So I think this is what happened was I had tried these entrepreneurial pursuits, felt ill-equipped and kind of, had some failures. And then was at Tesla and was doing some financial planning. At Berkeley, I'd been taking a lot of business-oriented classes. A lot of my friends were doing the management consulting, banking, lawyer route. And it just kind of hit me. I felt a little bit lost and I needed some structure. I needed a skill set. And I was like, okay, if I'm eventually really going to go build a company, here are certain places where I missed the mark. And I felt like I needed to learn how to, open up Excel and do financial modeling, how to sit with C-suite executives and understand how to run and operate companies, how to put together decks and pitch books and look at financials, look at research and understand what was happening in an industry. And I thought I had an opportunity at Houlihan to go look under the hood of some of the most successful businesses on the planet, do mergers and acquisitions, help them sell companies, raise capital, capital formation, etc. And I was like, if I do that and commit to it, either I'm going to really enjoy it, maybe that's a long-term career, or I'm going to have the skill set necessary to go build the next thing.
It amazes me that you always had this idea that you wanted to start a company, and then you're even thinking to the point, I need to go work for this company. Yeah, I'm going to help them, and I'm going to be part of their business structure, but I'm going to be learning so much that it's just going to eventually help me set up for when I want to launch the next business. That just amazes me that you're going in with that intention, knowing like I'm going to learn a lot, and this is only going to help me.
I actually think looking back on it, I think there are a lot of pros and cons.
Yeah.
A part of me thinks that's one avenue that will work, and I actually think it's going to pay off, and it was beneficial. Another part is like I also tell other entrepreneurs and people I meet with, if you know what industry or what company or what you want to do, go find the smartest person in the room and go work for them.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you can go build a skill set. Great. Now I can build a financial model, and there's some, credibility to being at an investment bank and then building a consumer brand. But there's equally as much, if not more, credibility. Okay, if I wanted to go build an ice cream company, maybe I should have gone and worked for Unilever or Ben & Jerry's or Halo Top or another company. Both routes work. This one worked for me. I needed to do it. I also wanted some, some discipline. I wanted to learn how to be a banker. I wanted to put some money in my pocket and be a little bit more corporate.
Yeah.
But yeah, that worked for
me.
I
love, I know you're a fan of Gary Vee. Gary Vee always says, he's jokingly, but he's like, man, I should be having these interns pay me to intern for me.
I agree with him.
Because all the network, what you're going to learn from him?
I actually, I was talking about this the other day. I actually agree with him.
Do you?
Yeah. I think if you're going to go work for somebody who's going to like set up your career, you should pay them.
Yeah.
I'm obviously kidding.
I know. But I love that line about that.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
While you're working for them, though, you also take an associate banking position in Italy.
Yep.
How was that? And how do you think living abroad changed you?
Life-changing. I was done with banking. You asked, look, nothing against it. Incredible firm, great friendships, great work relationships. Bottom line, and this might have even been at fault, I went into something knowing that it wasn't the long-term, goal, and I stayed there for about 4 years. I was there for 2.5, and I was ready to leave. I got a job offer in the Bay Area at a place called Circle Up, which is more food and beverage related, and it was a really cool company and still around, amazing what they're doing. And went back to Houlihan, and they said, we actually have this amazing opportunity. We acquired an investment bank in headquartered in Milan with offices all throughout Europe. What if we move you there? You'll become an associate. You'll do some cross-border M&A work. You'll help us kind of develop this office in Europe. And frankly, it was like a life. How am I going to say no to that? You get to go live in Italy. I didn't speak a lick of Italian. But I'd been through a bad breakup. I've been going through a lot personally in my family. It seemed like
it was calling you.
It was calling me. And I was like, this is, I talked to the smartest people I know, my best friends. I said, what do you guys think? Should I go to Italy? Because I had built a foundation here in LA, and I was starting to feel like I got everything together, and I was just going to push the reset button and go live in Milan where I have no friends, don't know anyone.
Yeah.
And it was the best decision I ever made in my entire life.
And knowing when you hit the button to go do it, was it you're going there for a year and you're coming back?
2 years.
It was 2 years.
Yeah.
Dude, 2 years.
Yeah.
What do you think changed the most about you? That's such a long time to be living abroad and completely pull yourself out of the environment.
So here's what happens. You get there, first 3 months, you're like, this is amazing. I love this. This is incredible.
Honeymoon
Italy,
phase.
pasta, culture. This is incredible. Walking the streets of Milan. Then you realize, wow, Milan doesn't have a lot of expats. I'm one of very few Americans here. I speak Spanish, great, but no one really understands when I'm speaking Spanish to them. They only speak Italian. Then I'm sitting at dinners with coworkers, and everything's in Italian. And I'm starting to think to myself, holy shit, I need to learn Italian right now. Luckily, my work was in English, so that was fine. But it starts to get really lonely, and I lived by myself. I had to put myself out there I'm an extrovert, but when you're going out there and understanding culturally how things work, you can't just go to a bar in Milan and go hit on a girl or say, hey, what's up? Or buy a girl a drink. That's actually culturally not okay. Wow. And it's offensive. And so I had to learn that the hard way.
Wow.
It's just a different dynamic. And you just have to be ready to be really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But that allowed me to really double down on, okay, who am I? I'm by myself in another country. I'm going to learn as much humanly possible about myself and use that to figure out what the next 5, 10, 15 years holds for me.
Was there ever a moment when you felt like you wanted to come home?
3 months.
Within that
3 months in, I was like, I am fucking crazy.
Wow.
I don't know anyone out here. I'm in Milan eating breakfast by myself, eating dinner by myself. Lucky I had I met a great friend, and then slowly but surely I had to commit mentally, but I had a little bit of a panic moment where I was like, I am far. From Milan to LA is a 14-hour flight, 2 planes. You're going to Frankfurt and then you're going back to LA. And so anyway,
I'm sure you learn, it's a moment that you get to learn a lot about yourself. You get to double down and really kind of invest that time and energy into figuring out who are you, what's the trajectory of my life looking like, how am I going to make the best of this moment in this situation instead of stressing out or getting anxious and worried of fuck, I'm 14-hour flight from home, but
yeah. So I sat down. I remember it was January of 2015, and I'm in my room by myself. It's 1 a.m. I can't sleep. I have jet lag. And I just start writing out how am I going to use the next 2 years to really better myself and get on the path that I know I want to be on, because I know banking and finance isn't the long goal for me. This is right before the inception of Dream Pops. And I'm like, what matters to me? What do I want to be a part of? What if I wrote down all of my major life experiences over the last 3 to 5 years, went through them, and was just nitpicking and trying to analyze my life and trying to figure it out. So it was an interesting
And
time.
what were you coming across when you're doing this analyzation?
Just thinking like everything from what we've talked about, like childhood, what drives me, what gets me excited, what gets me pumped to wake up in the morning. Why did I love music? Why was I so into hip hop? Why did I start this sunglasses company, this wine company? What were issues I had with the wine company? One problem was I wasn't that passionate about wine, and it's not something I could drink or celebrate every single day. And I've always had a
You could, but you probably don't want to.
You could, but then you're in trouble. For me, another thing was I want to create a product that every single day I can wake up, I can consume it, I can have it, I can be excited about it. And I don't know, man. I've always had a sweet tooth looking back. I've loved Dippin' Dots. My parents would tell you I ate every kind of ice cream on the market. I think maybe doing something like banking, being in Milan, which is the birthplace of gelato, it all just kind of lined up, right? So if you told me I was gonna, have a novelty, an ice cream business, in 2015, I probably would have laughed at you.
Yeah.
But that was a natural progression.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love, dude, I just love podcasts. I love my job because it's like this is all leading up to where we are today. So talk to me about, there's this spontaneous trip to Colombia that I think ultimately kind of inspires Dream Pops.
Yep.
How does this become an idea?
Totally. And this is back to connecting the dots, right? So
Dippin' Dots.
Yeah, connecting the Dippin' Dots to Dream Pops.
I love it.
So right before I left for Milan, I went with some of my closest buddies. We did a trip to South America. We went to Cartagena, Medellin, and Bogota. And while we were out there, I came across this paleta shop, which is a Latin American term for popsicles. And I love pressed juice. I was a big fan of pressed juicery and juice served here. I was watching what was happening with like Talenti and some of these new ice cream concepts. And I saw this paleteria and I was like, interesting, popsicles. Nobody's really innovated in the category for a long time. They've been moon-shaped frozen fruit pops. And when I think about something, I get excited about something, I obsess. And so naturally, the first thing I did was, okay, I really like this popsicle. And I was with two of my closest buddies. I remember being in this Il Cioccolato, which is what it was called in Cartagena. And I was like, man, this is interesting. Like, no one's really touched this space. Pulled every research report I could possibly find on ice cream and ice cream innovation and just started reading about it. And then I moved to Milan, which is the birthplace of gelato. And I started looking at all the gelato shops when I would go on lunch breaks from work. And I started Googling some of the food innovation that was happening in Europe. And so took that initial spark of excitement, read a ton about the ice cream space. I'm in Milan, Italy, tons of gelaterias and ice cream innovation. And I was on a random food blog and came across our partner who's a food scientist who invented and engineered a beta version that was close to what this product is. And I just started cold emailing the guy because I'm like, there's something here. I saw the shape, I saw the design. I'm like, something going on here. I can feel it in my gut.
Yeah.
And I called him. I emailed him. No response. Finally, he answers the phone. I found some number.
Oh, you were really looking for him.
I'm not kidding. You can ask my buddies. I was DMing, emailing, tweeting, like LinkedIn, you name it. I was obsessed. Finally answers. He's like, "What do you want? I've gotten all your messages." He's like, I'm like, I need to try this product. It looks unbelievable. He's like, all right, come to my food lab in Berlin if you're that serious about it. I'm like, done. So I booked a flight, went to Berlin, tried it, tasted it. The second I tried it, I knew in my gut, I'm like, this is it. I'm set. We're all in. Let's go. And I called my co-founder David Cohen, who had experience in food and beverage and worked with a company called Jvst Boys Bagels, which is a bagel truck. He worked a little bit with Alfred and a few other food and beverage brands. And I was like, Dave, I have this crazy idea for a popsicle. What do you think? He's like, all right, let's do it. Wow. So he went to Whole Foods and started buying up popsicles, and we started looking at we were going to make them. And then first step, all right, let's go in my mom's kitchen. Let's go start making some popsicles.
Wow. And I love that David is the chief pop hustler.
Yes.
I love that that's his title.
He's a chief pop hustler. He's a badass. He's made every single Dream Pop to date. He runs our team of 7 in our factory in downtown LA. Wow. He's a monster.
And why call it Dream Pops?
It's back to, something that it's in my spirit and DC's too. it's just all about inspiring people with something as insignificant as a popsicle to go after their dreams and manifest it and make it happen. And, it was like we talked like American Dream Pops. We were talking about names. We're trying to figure it out. And Dream Pops just stuck. It was just like, you're going to make your dream pop. I don't know.
And also, too, now knowing your story, it seems like it makes so much sense of Dream Pop. Like, this was the dream for you of always finding that brand or finding a product to create that you could take to the masses. And all these experiences leading up, this is the one. This is the pop of it.
100%. And another like piece of inspiration that's so important to mention is one of my favorite entrepreneurs on the planet is Howard Schultz. And the Starbucks story, I don't know how much you know it.
Yep.
Pour your heart into it.
Yeah.
Went to Milan, went to Verona, discovered the romance of the barista stand, brought it back to the States, and was just so inspired by Italian culture and how they created this emotional relationship with a cup of coffee. And my dream was to really, even just in the slightest form, create a new relationship with a product like ice cream, and go through that same type of trajectory or experience. And I really genuinely felt a lot of parallels between both of those routes.
Wow. And so I love also too in your Instagram bio, it says the future has arrived and it tastes wonderful. It gets me fired up just reading
our tagline, man. Anything is popsicle.
Anything is possible.
That is like, if I really genuinely think we can take something as insignificant as a popsicle, and I tell people this all the time. We're not a popsicle company. Like, we're not. We're really trying to inspire people through the vessel of a frozen fruit pop.
Yeah.
And our first product is a Dream Pop, but we've got some pretty cool stuff coming in the pipeline. Anything that is a sweet snack, we're all about being vegan. Heavily celebrate a plant-based lifestyle, but anything that's a sweeter confection could be a dream product.
Yeah, are you guys? You guys must be the most healthiest. Let's run this off. Plant-based frozen yogurt packed with superfoods, dairy, gluten, and soy-free.
Yep.
All under 100 calories, no artificial flavors or additives. Is this the healthiest popsicle on the market?
It is the healthiest popsicle on the market, and in an environment where people push, eat the whole pint, indulge. We're about portion control, snackability, creating a product that's equally as delicious as it is beautiful and design driven.
Yeah.
And in my mind, we have formulated, I don't like to knock competitors at all. This is the healthiest option there is.
Yeah, I call the Ben and Jerry course, I call those the one-sitters because I can't not.
Dude, they're amazing.
They're amazing, but man, it's packed. Let me tell you, that's that Monday morning after I have one on a Sunday night.
Fish food is
oh my God.
It's great.
Yeah, but the portion size of these definitely, it's like perfect. It's a more than enough, but it's not, you don't feel so bad about yourself after eating it.
And that's another thing in Europe that I found so interesting. The meal sizes are smaller. The reason everyone is so fit and healthy in Europe is because obviously they're obviously very careful with where the ingredients and, what the supply chain looks like in Europe. But also they're really good at portion control. Here we go to like Cheesecake Factory and you order like a giant thing of pasta. Look at the fast food industry. We're overeating.
Yeah.
It's really important to give people indulgence, but just permissible, snackable, portion-controlled indulgence.
Yeah.
And to really think about what you're eating. And are you eating because you're being marketed to eat to supersize it, or are you eating because you're hungry?
Yeah. I know there's a big difference. I always try to remind myself, don't live to eat to live. So make sure that you're, you got to enjoy yourself once in a while and go off the deep end. But for the most part, most of the time, eat high protein foods or things that are going to fuel you up, that are going to keep you moving, but that aren't going to hold you down, like a burger or French fries or things that it tastes so good, but man, it's not. You don't need it in your diet.
It's moderation, man. I also last year I went fully vegan.
Come a little bit more forward, just because I want to make sure that
last year I went fully vegan for the entire year.
Wow.
And look, I think it's a great way to live your life. I do think, for me, my biggest issue, and I think it's case by case, was that I needed to bring back in eggs and fish. Just straight vegan, I wasn't getting the proper nutrients. I was a little fatigued. And, that's why I think, yes, it's important to live a plant-based lifestyle, but it's all about moderation and balancing for each person.
Yeah, and everyone's a little bit different. So that diet might not have worked the greatest for you. It might work for somebody else, but at least it's not the best thing for me, so I'm not going to do this.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the flavors. We have Berry Dreams, Chocolate Lime, Coconut Latte, Mango Rosemary, Vanilla Matcha, and then Sky Blue Vanilla. Is that also the
That's
sixth
not
flavor?
out yet.
That's not out. So I saw that on the flavors you brought in, and I was like, is this a new flavor? I don't know.
Yeah, we're working on it. It's coming.
So for the 5 flavors that are out, so scratch the last one, how did you land on these 5 flavors?
Totally. So it's back to anything we do, we're going to do it a little bit differently and with a little more imagination and something a little more, yes, culturally relevant, but also focused on better for you, healthier, and pushing the needle on something that other competitors aren't really doing. We've got adaptogens in our products. We've got lion's mane mushroom in our chocolate. That's a little weird. What other lion's mane mushroom chocolate ice cream are you seeing on the market? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
You fill me in. We want people to pick up this and be like, wow, okay, they have everything as superfoods. Everything's gluten-free and vegan, but we're pushing the envelope a little bit with adaptogens, with superfoods that are going to, we're really rethinking functional frozen as opposed to just indulgent frozen.
Yeah. And this is a 4-pack, I think people
This is the 4-pack. This actually just came out this week. It's coming this week. So getting a first look.
And people can buy it online.
Online, but also in about 200 grocery stores.
Wow.
So we got Bristol Farms, Lassen's, Erewhon, and then New York Fairway, Best Markets. Dude, we're growing. It's exciting.
So if it's in store, it's either in LA or New York City right now.
Well, those are the only 2 markets.
But if you don't live in either of those cities, you can buy online and still get shipped.
Yep.
Frozen.
Yep.
That is amazing.
Direct to consumer. It's quite a hard process, but we locked it. We made it happen.
Well, the thing is,
anything is popsicle, right?
Everything is popsicle. Let's go. Yeah, it's one thing if you're shipping like a beverage that doesn't need to be refrigerated on the whole entire transition to the customer, but this is something that clearly, if it isn't frozen, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, so like last year, we launched direct-to-consumer ice cream. I look at other incumbents who are doing it. You look at Daily Harvest, you look at Jenny's, look at some Cool House, all these other ice cream companies or frozen companies doing direct-to-consumer. It's feasible. I think where it is in the life cycle of frozen direct-to-consumer, it's early. I think 5-10 years from now, 15, it's going to be very real for you to order a frozen product direct to consumer.
Yeah.
Right now, we have a 3PL in place. We're shipping nationwide. We got frozen cold storage all throughout the country, and we can get it done. It's just still expensive, and so we launched it last year, and we put the frozen shipping in the retail price for online, and it upset people because it was a little too expensive, and people started to dissociate and think that we were, far ultra premium, and that was not necessarily what we were trying to do. So over the last year, we've actually optimized. We just revamped and relaunched with our 4-pack online so that we can hit a much more reasonable price point. And we've optimized supply chain to help that.
Talk to me about the early strategy for you guys. You guys have been really focusing on B2B, business to business. I know you first started with a partnership with Beats by Dre, and that just kind of opened up doors to, you did partnerships with Nike, Starbucks, SoulCycle, Delta, Louis Vuitton, etc. Why take this approach instead of focusing on direct to consumer immediately?
Totally. Actually, we launched initially in 2016. Just doing those B2Bs.
Wow.
And that's how we built the business. I looked at other case studies. Like, first off, here's a great thing for any entrepreneur trying to get something off the ground. How do you just launch a water brand or, any other type of food and beverage company, kombucha, whatever it is? Give it to your closest friends.
Right.
See if they like it.
Right.
Go out to your sounding board, see what they think. So we took a dream pop initially in August 2016 and just started going to businesses and we're like, what do you think about this? Do you like this? Would you buy it? And putting together pitches on ways that we could kind of sell through that B2B channel. So initially, to get off the ground, our first client was really Patron. And what we said to Patron was like, hey guys, we can take your Patron product, we can infuse it because we own our factory, infuse tequila into the product, create your own customized version of a tequila, Patron pop, Dream Pop, and you can advertise to your clientele via, ice cream as an advertising vehicle.
Wow.
And so I was basically, and this is what we still do, and it's a big part of our business, is the way I sum it up, food as an advertising vehicle. Huh. So I go to Beats by Dre, I say, hey, Beats, we can make a Beats by Dre ice cream pop. People are going to consume your logo, your brand, they're going to Instagram it, and they're going to eat the thing that makes them happiest on this planet, ice cream.
Yeah.
So it's native advertising for ice cream.
Yeah.
That's what we do. And it's still, we had a huge year last year. We did it with Sephora and Smashbox Cosmetics, popping up in Sephora's, giving ice cream out for Smashbox, cross-selling. We did a 1942 Dream Pop at Neon Carnival last year, which was epic.
Amazing.
But we also we did a Starbucks pilot, 15 stores on the West Coast, 10 in Portland, 5 in LA. We did a huge Bumble, co-branded Bumble Dream Pop, where on National Ice Cream Day, you could get swipe in the app to get a special Bumble branded Dream Pop, and you could actually meet up to break the ice.
Oh,
break the ice cream.
Oh my God.
Come on, dude. You just gotta keep it punny and make it happen.
How important is it to create these experiences in 2019 for brands? Like, that to me seems like the make or break in the long play of, you might have a great product or a great service, but if the experience isn't great, you're going to lose people. How is creating this experience beneficial?
It's crucial. I just think back to, okay, we anything is popsicle. We're a popsicle. We're an ice cream. We're very heavy on Instagram and building our community digitally. We've been building a digitally native brand from day one. How do we bridge digital within real life? And that's our bread and butter. And that's why I think we've gotten people excited about our brand, because everything from people will eat and interact with a Dream Pop, and then they see a QR code or a call to action on the stick that then brings them into the Bumble app, that then you're jumping between digital and in real life via something that's an ice cream pop.
Yeah.
And so we're in the experience economy. People pay for experiences. They want to be a part of something. Millennials like us, we don't buy some people do. Buy $700 pairs of shoes. They buy experiences.
Yeah.
Firefest.
Yeah.
Come on, look at this.
Yeah, you're right.
It's all over the media.
You're right.
People were like not paying their rent and they're buying tickets to Fire because they crave that moment, that experience. So for us, we've built an experiential brand day one. That was the foundation. Then we thought DTC could be a great way for us to kind of bring that to the masses, and it was. It's just really hard from a supply chain. So the next logical step, and this is August of last year, 18, where are we going to win is in the grocery store. Keep doing these experiences for product discovery. Have people go to Soho House in Malibu and find a Dream Pop. Go to Soul Cycle, take a class and eat a yellow Dream Pop. Go on Bumble and discover the product. But where are you going to buy it and have it in the in your home? You're going to go to your grocery store. You're hopefully going to have interacted with it 1 to 7 times. You're going to know us. You're going to know that we're fun and that we're jumping out of the shelf of the grocery store. And you can find us there, but where our home base is going to be the grocery chain.
You're finding a way to tap into anybody and everybody, every market, from the Patron to the Soul Cycle.
We're also a content. All these every brand is a content company.
Yeah.
So you got to share your product. You got to get people to engage with it, and you've got to get people to try it.
Yeah. And so you're seeing on the content side, are you seeing a lot of growth from that, just from people sharing it out on their Instagrams or just everything?
That, yes. I also just think, it's really unique, the form factor. People like to just take a photo of it. And yeah, there's a lot of sharing, coming across a Dream Pop in a really alt channel, like an alternative channel that you're like, what? Why is Dream Pop at Goop? Or like, why did I just go to work out at Equinox and there's like a popsicle?
Yeah.
But I think that we can change the understanding of what ice cream is. I think it can be, first off, it's like it's such a relatable product to most people on the planet. Like, ice cream makes people happy.
100% makes me happy. I'll tell you that.
And I feel like it's been trapped in this like nostalgic ice cream culture that, nothing wrong with it. But people just haven't really pushed the envelope or what's possible. What's popsicle?
And like you said, it's the ice cream 2.0, right? That's what you
and
said.
Dippin' Dots did it. I mean, you'd go to amusement parks and that's where you would discover a Dippin' Dot or a hockey rink.
Yeah.
So we're really looking for those, unique channels for people to fall in love with our product. Maybe their shop, we did a pop-up at Bloomingdale's. Why is ice cream where I should buy clothing.
Yeah.
So just get people excited in alternative environments.
What do you think has been the biggest hurdle you have faced with the company?
Man, a lot.
Yeah.
Biggest learning is patience. That's it. Self-awareness, patience, grit. The majority of successful companies in my space, in consumer, are successful. You got to have a great product and brand and story, but grit of the founder. There have been days where I kid you not, at the grocery store, we're handing out pops, one at a time. You literally have to convince people and share your story one pop at a time. Howard Schultz says it best. He built Starbucks one cup at a time.
Yeah.
And you have to have the patience, tenacity, and willpower to be like, I'm going to show up for 3 years. Gary Vee says this all the time. It's so true. You've probably noticed it with Purpose in the Youth, man.
Yeah.
Do it for 3 years.
Yeah.
Then let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
If you keep putting your head down and iterating, eventually you'll find product market fit, and then you'll push through.
Yeah.
But dude, I was a banker. I was all about instant gratification and getting your bonus at the end of the year, making as much money as possible. And so being like, okay, I haven't taken a salary for a year and a half, 2 years. I've, front loaded a lot of my expectations. And if I want to build something with real meaning and clout that's authentic, it's going to take time.
What helps you stay patient even in the day-to-day grind?
This has been one of the biggest. Every morning I have a visual exercise / meditation. It's about 10-15 minutes where, it's breathing, it's visualization, it's gratitude, being grateful every single day, but also just visualizing that manifestation of success and climbing of that metaphorical mountain to really, if you're going to commit to something, you see it all the way through. Yeah. And I think there are so many founders that give up in the 6th inning. Yeah. So. And
you know what, too, going back, I'm sure seeing these entrepreneurs, seeing your parents, or seeing even, I know these things stick.
No, you're good. My bad.
Even seeing your friends that running their own businesses, you probably saw it happen firsthand of they told me their vision. They kept their head down for 6 years and brought a bracelet to life. Once you can get one example, it's like, oh, you understand. As I was telling you before we fired up the podcast, I had my buddy Dylan, who's the artist. I had seen him go from making music in his basement to then he get booked for his first tour. Sick. And I said, oh, okay. So I saw from 0 to now touring, I can do that with this. 100%. And so it's like you take one example, or you listen to one podcast or one interview, and you hear it, and it's like, oh, I get it now. I understand that. I just have to literally keep doing this every single day, and you pick your head up and 2-3 years goes by.
The problem is social media. Yeah. It's we are so hyper competitive, hyper connected. We have access to the most successful people on the planet in the comfort of their home. Yeah. And we think that I don't care who you are. In order to become successful, somebody has to put in the work. You can get a little lucky here and there, but work has to be put in. And it's so easy for you or I. We're connected to millions of people through our phone, and we can look at the few 0.001% who have hit it and think that should be where we are. Yeah. Frankly, if you just put the time in, it'll happen. It'll manifest.
Do you think you're lucky with Dream Pops right now?
Lucky in which way? With what we're doing in general?
Yeah, in general. Do you think it's luck?
No, man. No, not at all. And this is back to my biggest struggle. When I quit my job, I had to tell my colleagues what I was doing. Dude, I was doing M&A investment banking, and I was like, guys, I'm leaving. I'm selling popsicles. I got laughed out of the door. I had even now, man, I have colleagues, they'll see me demoing at Erewhon at the grocery store, and it's easy. Before I used to really just be all about comparing myself to others and where am I at, and I'm such a hyper competitive person that's normal. But then, the more and more I step back and I'm like, this is my lane, this is what we're building. It doesn't even matter what the widget is. Focus on what makes you excited, what you're passionate about, and just and dial in. And it'll eventually start to work itself out.
The team that you guys have operating this, how do you guys work? Is it really everyone knows their place? Everyone knows what they need to do? How important is that to the success of the company for you?
Crucial. So my co-founder, David Cohen, is a mastermind at manufacturing. He has literally made hundreds of thousands of Dream Pops out of our factory
In LA.
In LA, he's got his team of 7 with
That's all it is. Seven people that are
right
making
now.
all these.
It's growing, but yes, it's an assembly line. We've got a pretty cool process. So we've got this factory. We're actually moving into a factory that's 5 times as big next week. It's growing.
Let's go.
We're
5
excited.
times.
So we'll be needing some more more help for sure. But then I've got some great partners. You know, Steven is a partner in Dream Pops, as is a guy named Jeff Gendelman, Jvst Ventures. A great team of people across private equity, finance, entrepreneurship, direct to consumer, people who have invested in brands that know how to take their products to market. We got an amazing head of sales, Suraj Bhajwani, who's killing it. And then, help from Ashley and Tasha. It really is a village, man. It's not one person by any means. It's people who know. I've just tried to find the smartest people I can in this space, and I'm always learning. And that's it. And another thing is just humility. I, like you were mentioning how with Purpose in the Youth, you're DMing people and LinkedIn messaging people. Dude, I'm most underrated weapon is the cold email.
Yeah.
Send 100.
Yeah.
Pick your 100 favorite people that you would pay to sit down with. Send them an email. I guarantee you 5 say yes.
Yeah.
And then boom, what are those 5 people? What doors are they opening up?
You have nothing to lose. That's the way I look at it. I had one instance where I sent an email and I got a response, and I said, okay, now I see, because I didn't think I was going to get a response, and I got the response, and now I get more excited sending those Hail Mary emails than to people that I think are going to respond, so it kind of fires me up. Like, I sent one a couple weeks ago to Dan Bazillion. just Hail Mary, like
he probably responded.
He hasn't responded yet, but Dan, if you're listening, hit me up.
You got to respond.
But no, you got to, as I like to say, you got to push the envelope. You have to just go for it. What do you have to lose? I sleep better at night knowing that I put it all on the line. That literally helps me sleep at night. It's like I gave the day everything I got. I gave this podcast everything I got. I've given everything that I'm doing all that I got, and I can't be mad with how everything else plays from that point.
Yeah, no, dude. Sean Kelly has this one line that I love, and it's, "What are you willing to sacrifice to live the life that you're claiming to want?" It's just powerful.
Yeah. And
if you are putting in that sacrifice, most people don't want to give up the crap, the fun stuff, the leisure, and really the ugly shit where you're rolling up your sleeves, you're showing up to the accountant, you're, editing late at night at 3 a.m, trying to get the podcast or the episode out. The ugly and the dirt, the clouds and dirt, for lack of a better word, man. That's where it is. So.
I know you had hinted at kind of there's possible products that we can expect from Dream Pops. What can you say moving forward? I know you don't want to say anything that you're going to regret, but where do you see this going in the future? Yeah,
so we really want to build an ice cream platform, a plant-based platform that celebrates vegan and better for you, low in sugar products. Would love to create a platform of products that kind of celebrate that. And to be frank, just build a real sustainable company that, there are all these people that are chasing the exit that want to flip a company and make a ton of money. That's great. I get it. But you're not going to build a sustainable company if that's the only goal, if you're in this only for financial reasons. Frankly, to go build an ice cream brand, a kombucha company, a nut butter company, on paper, it's actually statistically a bad use of your time. You're probably not going to be successful. So you have to be hungry and you got to love it. I'm weird, man. I go to grocery stores and hang out there for 5 hours and take pictures of packaging. That's fucking weird, but I'm a weirdo. So if that's what I love thinking of being a food designer. The same way that, fashion designers approach retail and clothing, and when I see somebody walk up to our booth, take a Dream Pop out of the packaging and just look mesmerized and try it, and they're like, holy fuck, what is that? This is what are these people eating? They're walking around with geometric looking popsicles. You're doing something different. You're that delight. I wish I could bottle that. Yeah. So if I can I'd love to create a platform where continue building dream products, dream brands, Dream Pops. But if I can just continue creating and building businesses that net, look, this product I can stand behind. kids eat it, it's a better solution to Magnum, Haagen-Dazs, Ben and Jerry's, not to like knock them.
Yeah.
But it has a net positive impact. It's a healthier option, and it's not doing a whole lot of harm, and I love it.
And you love what you do. That's what this podcast is all about.
I fucking love this shit.
So
if I can be financially independent, happy, content, and wake up every day creating, then
That's the dream. That's the dream.
That is the dream.
Yeah.
Seriously, man.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I saw in your Instagram bio it says the courage to dream, the will to innovate, the tendency to execute. What is this all about?
Yeah. So those 3 lines are what I wrote down in my journal in Milan when I was sitting there.
Look at this full circle.
Crazy, right?
That's what you wrote
I sat
down.
in my room, and I kid you not, those 3 lines I wrote while I was thinking about this and what we were doing, and I'm like, those tenets are really what it takes, I think.
Yeah.
So you have to have the courage to say fuck you to the haters, the naysayers, the noise.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have the will to go out there and innovate for years, for day in, day out, take the no's, take the rejections. It's hard, man. I'm sure you get it all the time. You have these great visions for what you can create and what you want to accomplish. But you just have to have that willpower and that grit to just keep going, pushing through. And then tenacity, man, just hunger, this fire to just execute it.
Yeah. I mean, I know we had talked about it earlier about how the parents were the entrepreneurs, and I don't want to bring it all the way back, but was this kind of lessons that they were kind of pushing on you as a kid, like dream, like find something you want to do, or did you kind of just naturally figure this out for yourself?
100%. It's definitely instilled from them. Dad was flipping burgers, he's from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah.
And he had this, desire to be a director, moved to LA, said fuck it. He moved to LA, dropped out of, he was studying biology, dropped out of that to go try and do something in film. And then just basically got this opportunity to be an editor, like Spotlight as an editor, would just put in those late nights, editing films, editing trailers, getting any time he could. Started becoming incredibly skilled at being an editor, and then was like, I think I could actually create a company and do this myself.
Yeah.
And just, I think going from day one, doing whatever it takes to kind of manifest a life for yourself, seeing him do it. My mom too, she's been building this minyan for 10 plus years.
Wow.
And has 100 families, is so passionate about religion and making it accessible, and day in, day out, when she's exhausted or has a bad service, whatever it is, both of them, just the grit, that willpower to push through and just keep going is definitely where I think I tap into that.
What are you most grateful for today?
What am I most grateful for? I am really, really grateful for the people in my life that have bet on me. It's on their shoulders that I've been able to go and do this. There have been like a handful of people across my career that, first off, both of my parents started there, but a few people who helped, like, this kid's hungry, I believe in him. And those 5 to 7 people have given me a shot that's gotten me here.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that. Obviously, I'm grateful for my family.
Yeah, of course.
I'm grateful for the community that I've grown up in, that's allowed, dude, we're another thing I think about, we're Americans. Like, we have these incredible liberties. We have the American dream. We actually get to go out and do it. So that's another thing I'm grateful for. But I think bottom line is just those few people who took a shot on me.
Yeah, that to me is the big thing, is that if you can just have either one person to lean on or somebody that's on the sideline that's cheering you on from the jump, that can literally be all you need to keep pushing. Because I think with anything great, the make or break is that first year, 2-3 years, when you have this vision for something, but nobody really understands what it is. And
what happened first 10 episodes of this for you?
That was it, man. I mean, shit, those were all like homies of mine. Even like the first 6 months, man, it was just, recently I posted something on Instagram about it, and that was the most beautiful thing of, like, when I went from the shift of saying, I was pitching out business cards for the podcast before episode 1 had launched. And I was like in my Uber in Boston, like, hey, this podcast is going to be about entrepreneurs, artists, DJs. So I kept saying, like, this is what it's going to be about. This is what it's going to be about. And probably like after 6 months, when I could start saying this is what it's about, was the best feeling in the world, because it was, for me, a personal thing of like, you executed on the vision. Now you just have to keep going. Now it's not about trying to sell it. It's just about showing up every single week and just proving the concept. And then, like I was talking about earlier, of just now being 120 plus in, it's like, this is no longer just an idea. This is executed. And that to me was just...
Dude, 120?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
120, 3 group episodes, 30 plus solo pods, and then probably about 30 plus behind the scenes pods.
I'm just excited 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when you're like 7,000 episodes.
Netflix, YouTube series.
Like, dude, I was in the first 130.
Yeah, let's go. The first 130 club. The first 130 club. What do you think is the best advice you've ever received?
Best advice I have ever received. Know your weaknesses. 100%. And I struggle with that because I'm a control freak. It's that, and then self-awareness. So I think those are both similar,
go hand in hand.
comparable. Yeah. If you try and control everything, you're going to fail. If you don't delegate to smarter people than you, you're going to fail. You need a team to create something great, and that holds up a lot of entrepreneurs.
What do you think is the one weakness that you would like to see yourself work on the most?
A control freak.
Yeah, the control. Yeah.
That's one.
Yeah.
I think being able to trust other people to get the job done is huge. And as I said, like, ego was one of my biggest challenges, was like, not caring what other people think.
Yeah.
And being able to step back and say, another thing too is, Dream Pops, I am Dream Pops. It's an identity, but remembering, like, I'm not the brand. I'm David Greenfeld, and no matter what I'm building, it's Dream Pops right now. The failure, the success of this company doesn't make me a better person. It's the act of doing it. And, back to ego, no matter what happens, just being able to separate myself. I will have zero regrets in this life. I remember sitting in my office the day I decided I was going to quit and do this. And I was like, okay, what are you going to look back and be more upset about? Giving up a comfortable salary and job, or you see this window, you're so excited, you can feel in your gut there's something happening here. Yeah. There's this ride you're about to jump on. If you don't do it, if you don't jump on, like, come on, what if you didn't move out to LA? Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. Look at you, dude. Yeah. You're killing it. Like, come on, man. Yeah. So I think you just have to, it's a gut emotion and feeling, and you can't get scared in that early nascent stages of it.
I think it's extremely important to separate the two, like you're talking about, because that's what I always tell people. It's like, at the end of the day, this is bigger than me. This is about guests. This is about stories. Yep. Like, yeah, I'm the bearded man behind the podcast, but this is so much bigger than me. But also going off of that too, just no matter the amount of success that has, no matter the amount of success this has, humble as ever. Still remembering where I came from, the values my parents taught me, the environment I was raised in. Like, that to me is so crucial, because you just, I think people screw up. It's like, you get successful and it's like, great, you have all this money and you have everything you could ever ask for, but I feel like you miss out on more opportunities when the moment you start to switch and you start to think you're bigger and better than other people. And that to me is just something that I will always stay true to. And it sounds like today from you, just, you're going to be authentically you. You're not going to let any success change the way you move. And I think that's the longevity, that even if the door ever closed on Dream Pops and something else opened, you're ready for it, because you're David. You know what I'm saying?
The people I really look at the most isn't necessarily the successful people. It's the people who have had like stints of success, built it to a $5-10 million business, been doing it for 6 to 8 years, and then it doesn't work. That shit is crazy in my mind. I mean, dude, you're successful, fine. A lot of other variables contributed to that success. Luck, timing, a good product, a celebrity, fine. Success is great, but that's binary, that's done. The people that you got to have a lot of empathy for, but also like admire is, how about the guy that built a business for 6 years and then lost it all?
Yeah.
And then is like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to go build the next one. That dude, that's the dude I want to, hang out with, as opposed to necessarily the successful guy.
Yeah. Also, look at like Jeff Bezos. Started as a book company. Started as an online book company. Yep. I love that picture of him in his office with Amazon spray painted. Yeah, it gives me the chills.
I heard they still have it like as a I don't know, commemoration.
Oh, that's amazing. That shit fires me up. What do you think David's purpose is?
Yeah, it's to inspire others to go after their dreams and their childish dreams, and really remember that the tools are in the palm of our hand, and we've never lived in such a incredible, accessible renaissance of really like of human nature. You can really look up anything and go learn how to do it, and you can't get it's actually hard because there's a paralysis of overly distributed information, too many opportunities. Our parents had a lane and they didn't know about the other 50,000 opportunities that were out there, and so it was easier. And now we're just we're so bombarded with advertisements and influencers and what we could be doing. I think the purpose here is just dig deep and inspire other people. I can, hopefully I can take something, as I said, insignificant as an ice cream pop, and just inspire other people to say, fuck it. It doesn't even matter what the idea is. What can you bring through creatively, and what can, what is your widget or your platform to inspire people?
I love it. Before I get into the closing questions, this is when I reverse the role. I allow the guests to ask me any one question. Could be about something we talked about today, something you want to know about me. 2 rules. 1, it can't be a question that I already asked you today.
Okay.
2, it can't be directly about the podcast.
Ooh, good one.
Any one question.
What's your biggest failure?
That's a good one. What is my biggest failure? That's a good question. I don't know. I never started anything growing up. I kind of gave up on basketball and high school. I played golf through high school.
Nice. How were you? Pretty good?
Nah, I was not great.
Okay. Dude, we should play some golf, man. Let's do it.
I wasn't that great, but I did my best to stay on the green and in the fairway. But I think and I don't know if this is the answer anybody's gonna be looking to hear, but I think the biggest failure, and it's not a that's a great question. I've never been asked that. I've definitely asked people that so many times, and now I'm on the spotlight.
It's a hard question, man. I'm tough with that too.
Yeah, because it's interesting when I think back on my childhood. I think one of the first moments that I a question I'd asked you earlier of like, what's the first time you like set your eyes on something and then made it happen? I think for me, it wasn't even until I think there were a lot of other moments along in my life, but it was really the moment of college with Bentley. I didn't get in as a freshman. I transferred to another school. I had this big chip on my shoulder, like, they don't fucking believe in me. They don't think I could do this. And then I worked my ass off, and then I transferred and I got in. So that was like a huge, at the time when I look back on it, I think about how much positivity that brought into my life of like seeing the work be put in. And I try not to look at anything as a failure. I try to look at everything as a learning lesson now. I think on a day-to-day basis, maybe like like I said, I don't know if this is the right answer, if it's the best answer, but just the moments of, I feel like I fail myself when I have those self-doubt moments. And I know everybody has them, but it's super interesting that I think a lot of people see successful people and they think they're just like a superhuman, but there's also like things happening behind the scenes that they don't really realize. And I guess maybe the failure, and I do a good job of it, which is being vocal and like telling my truth and even the highs and the lows. but maybe not being as vocal as I should. I don't know. I don't have a direct answer for that question.
I got another question for you. Ready?
Go ahead.
Do you think if you achieved all the success that you're driving for, you would be happy? Everything that you could ever, whatever your dream, it manifests.
Yeah.
Is that going to make you happy?
Yeah. It would. It would. What I've came to the realization of is that what I'm doing right now, if money was not a thing, I wouldn't change a thing. And I think that is the extremely important question people need to ask themselves. If I gave you $100 million tomorrow, would you still be doing what you're doing today? You would.
100%.
You would be able to just
100%.
pour $100 million into Dream Pops. Every kid in America would be getting out of class with the Dream Pop in their hand.
Done.
I would be able to take this to a whole nother level. I would just be able to scale this. I'd have a full production team. I would have
Fantasy Factor.
Exactly. I would have everything. And so that's how I know I'm in the right path and I'm on the right lane, because if money knocked on my door tomorrow, nothing in my life changes.
I'm going to flip it on you. I actually think you'd become happy in the process of manifesting the dream versus when the dream actually is realized.
I agree, because if I think back on the last 120 episodes, how much I've changed and what the lessons I've learned. Yeah. But there also is it's that game, it's that mental battle of just pushing through and believing in it and seeing through the vision. I have a lot of high moments. Like when I'm in a podcast like this, I'm high. Like this is
me too.
I couldn't ask for anything else right now.
Yeah.
But then, I'll go a week and a half and not have a podcast lined up, and I'm just like, fuck, what am I doing? Like things aren't going the right direction. What, blah, blah, blah. But I would agree that I think in the process, that is where you're going to find the happiness, because, just the person and who I've become in 120 plus episodes, if I just woke up the next day and was like the next big podcaster, I wouldn't be who I am. So I'm learning a lot along the way. And yeah, those are the failure I'm going to be thinking about that for the rest of the day, because I don't know what I've failed in my life, but like what is the one failure, and I can't think of it. Like this is like the first thing in my life that I really pushed the envelope and tried. I didn't do anything entrepreneurship growing up. I never started a business. And I think this has just been a lot of lessons learned along the way. Amazing. Yeah. Love it. Yeah. So, closing questions. Where can people find you on social media, and where can they find Dream Pops?
Yes. It's at Dave_Greeny. Mm-hmm. It's my personal. You can go Dream Pops, just the handle for Instagram, and then www.dreampops.com. Mm-hmm. And just trying to make it happen. Hit me up, DM me. Yep. Send you some ice cream.
Yep. Hit him up in the DM. Make sure you guys and gals, drop some bearded man emojis on his Instagram, so he knows you're coming from the Bearded Man podcast, The Purpose in the Youth. Before I ask the last question, thank you for coming in today. This has been amazing. This has been great. I really do believe in Dream Pops, and now I was sold on the product. I was sold on like the taste, which was great. I mean, you want to create a great product at the end of the day. But really doing the research and seeing the energy and seeing the content, and then hearing today your story and really why this is a product, it fires me up, because as we talked about before this podcast, the why tends to be the most important thing. Why is someone doing what they're doing? And you genuinely, there's a greater purpose to this. And I love that there's this health conscious part of it too. It's healthy. It's good for you. It's not like every other ice cream on the market. So I respect everything that you have going on with Dream Pops, and just appreciate you taking the time to come and tell your story.
Dude, thanks for putting us on the platform. It's amazing to just be able to share the story. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Well, I hope some people will go get their Dream Pops after they hear this.
Dude, anything is popsicle, man.
Anything is popsicle. Anything is popsicle. Last question.
Yeah.
For somebody that's listening, hasn't found the passion, hasn't found the purpose out just yet, what's the best 2 to 3 pieces of advice you'd give to them?
Yes. I do something still that I think is so incredibly valuable. Back to our cold emailing, try and set up once a week, meet with a founder or somebody in a unique industry or role or position, and buy them coffee. And do that 100 times. Meet the people. If you're genuine, when you reach out in a cold email and you do your research and you say, Bobby, you're killing it in the podcast game. I'm really interested in where audio is going. can I please buy you a cup of coffee or just hop on a 10-minute phone call? I aspire to achieve success like you've achieved. If I get inbound sometimes with people in the food and beverage space asking me questions, wanting to meet up. If you take the time and write something genuine like that, I'm going to do done. Yeah. Easy. Yeah. Because so many people did that for me. Yeah. And then there are times where you sit down with somebody and it connects and you love everything they have to say. You're inspired by them, and hopefully that'll give you the steps to start pushing and researching and jumping into a space or product or concept that'll really get you fired up.
Yeah, I love it. David Greenfeld,
done, baby.
Thanks for coming in
Thanks
today,
for having
brother.
me, man.
We'll catch you guys next time.
Appreciate it.
See ya.